Hey there, welcome to another edition Vegas Badboyz of Podcasting. It is I, DJ Impact, and what a panel we have for you tonight. Man, look at that magazine. Wait, before I get to them, let's give a shout out to our regular bad boys here. Matt Michaels is with us, Sin City Steve. We got Rob Fossilary with us, and joining us we have George Hermosa looking at that old WWF magazine, and we have Travis with us as well. Man, welcome to 3 Count.
Yo, real quick, did you know I can get 12 CDs for a penny?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look at that.
Is that with Columbia House?
Yeah, that's crazy.
How did I know
I have a
about
question.
that?
I'm gonna fill
I have
this
a
shit out
question.
right now.
Would those 12 CDs be the 12 best matches in AEW history?
Oh yeah,
Oh, wow.
that's on here.
According to Meltzer, probably all happened last week.
Yeah. Oh, Pile Driver's on here. Oh, good. Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yes, welcome.
A move that they don't sell in AEW. Pile drivers.
Well, we have a good. This is 3 Count. Normally, we always start off with wrestling.
I got to cut you off again. Just real quick, because it's been going through my head. When did you start this podcast? Do you remember what month?
January of
January.
19.
All right. 2019?
Yep.
All right, because I just wanted to make sure, because everyone else is a free agent out there. I wanted to make sure my contract was, in renewal phase. I could be talking maybe to other sites, maybe like the Meltzers or the other sites. I got to start my my contract. What was that gimmick MJF had? The hottest free agent or something like that. So,
Also from the backseat of the
Bidding
car?
war in 2024.
Real quick.
there we go. The bidding war 2024. Because I've heard someone may have debuted recently on a TV show that had a list of demands. So I'm going to take a little page from her book, bring a list of demands.
Who's the Mark Talk? Who's the WWE Mark Talk and wearing the WWE gear right now?
That'd be you, the WrestleMania hoodie.
Oh, look at that. Oh, look at
Well, folks,
That's a
look,
fourth
Eye
statement.
and face.
It's called Mark Talk.
I think Impact's like, fuck, these two guests have taken over my show.
it's going to be exciting. I'm pretty sure of that for this segment for sure. Hey, everyone who's watching us live, make sure you put all your comments though in the chat box, YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. Make sure you get it all in there. We want to read them all because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of opinions and things people want to say. So make sure you definitely put that in. All right. So this is 3 Count. Let me do the intro properly. It's time. Vegas Badboyz of Podcasting present 1, 2, 3 Count Talk.
Count Talk, baby.
Here's a topic. Count 1. Is WWE opening the forbidden door? Oh boy, what is that all about? Well, it was mentioned earlier this week. Shayna Baszler is going to be a part of Josh Barnett's Bloodsport X. And this is going to happen in Philly during WrestleMania time, Thursday, April 4th, GCW Collective. This is definitely out of WWE's different out of their playbook. I'm interested in all your thoughts, but first, before I get over to you, bad boys, I'm going to let our guests, guys, there's going to be a counter on here. Okay, 2 minutes. Try to stick within that, or this podcast will go into the midnight hour. All right.
Oh, this is going to be a 2-hour show, man. Who you kidding?
Easily.
Did you tell the network that we need an overrun? Because I heard that's what you got to do. You got to tell the network you need an overrun. And then you announce it on Twitter.
Right.
So it's not a surprise.
So let me jump over to you, George. Thanks for joining us, man, on the show. Shayna Baszler doing something outside of WWE. Tell me, what's your take?
I think you should rephrase the question because is WWE opening the forbidden door They opened it a long time ago. The only reason why they were talking about it now is because they know how to make it mean something. They opened it a long time ago, probably back in the 80s when we saw Bob Backlund going up against Harley Race or one of those, letting Inoki from New Japan come over and win the WWF Championship and whatnot. We saw it years later with Ultimo Dragon defending the WWF lightweight championship on WCW TV. It's been a thing, but they don't do it every other week. Therefore, it really means something when it does happen. This upcoming April with Shayna Baszler doing Bloodsport and a few others, might I add. So I think it's been open. It just they really know how to make it mean something. Obviously, Vince not being there probably has a lot to do with it. But honestly, it's one of those things where even when he was there, I feel like too many people kind of give the WWE some flack because it was more like, only got a minute left. It was more like people just wanted that people wanted him to say yes, but without really presenting why it's such a good option to have. Now, obviously, I think you have Triple H, who probably has been doing this, thinking in his head for a long time, having these relationships with going to All Japan, with Nakamura doing the show back last year against Muta. It's been a thing. I just think they know how to make it mean something when they do it.
Okay, good points. Let me move over to you, Travis. What was your take when you saw this come through?
First, I need to know: do I get the extra 20 minutes 20 seconds that George didn't spend? Also, is the counter sponsored by 2K Sports, 2K video game? Do we have a sponsor for this this counter up in the corner here? Because speaking of sponsors, it's a segue back into what this weekend is all about for WrestleMania. People are seeing, Shayna Baszler at Bloodsport. I think it's WWE finally woke up and said, hey, we're going to own this weekend. And if people are coming in, we're taking a piece of the pie. If you've seen the flyer for Wrestlemania, in the corner, it says, sponsored by Cricket Wireless. Who does Cricket sponsor? WWE. If you look at the list of names on Wrestlemania right now, what company do they all work for? WWE. There are some people who are not taking part of Wrestlemania for whatever reason you want to believe it to be, but I think we see by a sponsor of the show, you can kind of figure out why they can't be a part of Wrestlemania this year. So the Bloodsport thing, I am 100% under the belief that WWE did reach out to the talent of WWE and ask them if they wanted to do the show. There looks like there's going to be more than one person involved in the show. And I would say that there's going to be something, if not bigger, equally as big as WWE having something that is not part of their product, WrestleMania weekend, that they're going to be a part of as well.
Okay. Good stuff. Rob,
but my question is, because I still have a few seconds left, DJ Impact, are you going to Bloodsport?
I won't.
Are you even going to Philly?
I'm going to Philly, yeah.
But you're not going to Bloodsport?
Not going to Bloodsport.
Are you going to both nights of Mania?
Just one night.
Which night?
Night 2.
Oh, so you're going to see the story finish, but you don't want to see the Rock. Wow.
Well, I've seen a lot of The Rock over my years.
Oh, wow. Enlighten us. Do you have any NDAs you need to speak? That you can't, how much for The Rock have you seen?
Oh, God. Let me go. Hey, Rob Boss Larry, tell me, what's your
just
take?
Real quick, just to add on to what Raven said, Willow is advertised for Wrestlemania. Just want to throw it out there.
All right.
Rob,
go.
We've seen this in recent time with Jordan Grace. We've seen it a year earlier with Hardcore Country, Mickey James. They've been teasing it here and there. All the stuff you talk about, a Harley Race and Ultimo Dragon, all that was years ago. For audiences today, they wouldn't know what that is unless you're a really well-versed wrestling aficionado. Right now, WWE is dipping their toe in the water. They're playing it safe. They don't want to come off looking like dicks. Vince McMahon could afford to do it, I think. But with everything that's going on right now, let the people play a little bit, because they're still contracted people. They still have very short leashes. A lot of these people are still paying for the rights for their own social media still and giving a percentage to WWE. So this is good. I like it. And if it gets people interested in the indies at all, that's good. I've got no problem with it. I don't like it when you do something like AEW does, where they do CMLL and it goes nowhere. And it's like, here's a random masked wrestler, and he's going to fight Chris Jericho. And this happened 20 years ago, and Chris Jericho was just getting into WCW. And this guy is Ultimo Luchimo Grande, Convente Coffee. And yeah,
Right.
I don't care because there was no point to it. They tried to do an invasion angle without an invasion. So this is good. But I don't think this is going to lead to anything. I don't think we're going to see big payoff as far as other, franchises getting involved in cross-mixing with WWE.
You mean you don't watch wrestling with Google right next to you so you can know who these guys are?
I'm not that invested in every fucking mom and pop operation that wants to start a wrestling school in the backyard and then, get a nice professional flyer done at Kinko's.
All right, let me move over to you, Sin City. Quick question, different question, then jump your thoughts.
Kinko's is still around?
Shane,
FedEx. Exactly.
FedEx Kinko's now.
You do have to realize Rob lives in 1985.
Excuse me. 1985, son of a bitch.
Yeah, because if he lived in 85, he would have agreed to the Bob Backlund whatever thing he said earlier, and but he said he didn't like that terminology. So, but then again, Backlund came back in 95, right?
He did.
Yeah.
He was running for president
very strategically
and announced his presidency in 95.
So he does live in 1995 then.
Yeah, there you go. Sin City, Shayna Baszler. Let me ask you. It's interesting that yes, she's a part. I don't know much about Bloodsport, but it sounds like it could be pretty dangerous. If all types of events that she would be a part of, why WWE put her in a Bloodsport instead of just putting her in some other different type of event? Are they kind of really? Do they like Shayna? Let me put it out there.
Impact.
No wonder he's not going.
Yeah, no shit. So Bloodsport is a worked MMA fight.
Oh,
okay. So it literally is what Shayna would thrive in.
Not at all. I don't pay attention to that. I'll keep going, Sissy.
Yeah.
Let me get the timer.
So basically, I mean, this makes all the sense in the world. And as has been mentioned elsewhere, this is another step in the right direction. We've seen it the last couple of years with Impact, with the Knockouts, being able to be in the Royal Rumble, actually with their Knockouts titles representing the brand, them, the announcers mentioning the promotion and things of that nature. And this is something that I've applauded WWE for each time that they've done it. For the longest, we've seen WWE not exactly play well with other promotions. Now, I know that some people might say, oh, there's no real motive to do that. But at the end of the day, you're getting some of your future stars from these these independent promotions. And it's one of those things. It feeds the ecosystem more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I am all for this. As anybody knows, I am quick to give constructive criticism to WWE for any little thing that they do. But also, if I didn't shout them out and applaud them when they do things the correct way, then I would be a hypocrite. I am all for WWE, co-opting these events and getting some of their talent advertised on these independent shows that take place during WrestleMania weekend. Everyone knows that for hell, I'd say the last, 20 years in varying degrees, people have built independent events around WrestleMania. It just makes sense to have WWE presence on all of these independent promotions. So props to the new management and the new ownership group for making this happen.
Real quick, Impact, just a little bit of history. When Shayna was in the MMA, Josh Barnett, who runs Bloodsport, was her trainer. So that's the connection of why Shayna Baszler was the first person announced for this event, because it's Josh's show. The only person in WWE that makes sense to be there is Shayna Baszler. As far as first names announced, there are a few other people that are going to be announced that kind of make sense. I think if you look at some of their roster and see what their MMA backgrounds are, you can probably figure out the pieces of the puzzle. Also, ironically, Ronda Rousey will be in town on that day, so anything's possible. And the bigger thing that I hope would be cool to happen, I don't know if it will because of politics, but Marina Shafir takes part of all these blood sports events.
Yep.
Marina, part of the Four Horsewomen with Shayna. Marina under contract to AEW. We could, I mean, I don't know if we can see it, but Marina versus Shayna at Bloodsport could probably be the biggest news of the weekend of that, WrestleMania week, if it can happen. Because while you have two friends, two former roommates, you actually have AEW versus WWE. So,
Yeah. Wow. Matt Michaels.
Otherwise, it'll be local jobber number 5 taking on Shayna.
Happens. Tony Khan's going to be all over that.
Let me go, Matt Michaels. What is your take, man? Do you see this being successful, and we seeing more of this taking place, more than just happening every blue moon? Maybe this has become a regular occurrence going forward.
I think what you have to take into perspective is the fact that it's GCW that's behind the whole collective idea. So GCW has a built fan base. If it wasn't them, if it wasn't Josh Barnett, this probably isn't happening. This is the way for that door to be open, right? So could there be? Yeah, there very well could be, but it has to be. It's not going to be Bob Smith's, Showtime Wrestling, local to Philly on 6th Street, right?
Yeah.
It has to be something that has some kind of potential, and something that the talent themselves want to participate in. And, that the thing is that Hunter is willing to do that kind of stuff because he's not an idiot. The guy is a wrestling guy, that's the whole thing. He understands the fucking business. Vince was different, right? Vince understood one business. That was Vince. He only was out for one person, himself. So Hunter is always been someone who is more oriented towards the business itself, has respected those people who came before him, always welcomes them back with open arms. And I think that, even putting out guys like, Sapolsky out there doing his, con man job, to get people in to give them money.
Mm-hmm.
KHAN, he not stealing KHAN.
But the thing is that this is more stuff that you never saw before, and that's just something that's going to happen. Being that the new TKO boss too is The Rock. We're giving Hunter all this credit. What about The Rock, man? He's the big boss.
Big
Yeah.
boss.
But he still went to Hunter and said, "Fix this." But then later on, he goes, "I'm the boss. I'll fire your ass." So I don't know. Does he know what position he has?
He definitely knows what position he has, But real quick, as you stated earlier, how WWE is taking advantage of it and not bringing in Super Lucha number 14 that was probably created on WWE 2K24. Cheap plug. It's how, I don't know how many people realize that are AEW fans that Tony Khan sent Thunder Rosa to CMLL a couple weeks ago, and where's the footage?
Exactly.
I can say right now at this very hour, Swerve is out here in LA at Rolling Loud. Are we going to get footage of that this week? Because I can guarantee you, when the Oscars had nothing to do with WWE, but we saw the footage on Raw last week. So that's where it goes back of, if you're going to let your talent do other things, make sure you grab that footage and put it on your shows.
Swerve is performing at Rolling Loud?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, it's cool.
about 2 hours
I
ago.
was gonna say Cora Jade's there too, but I think she's going as a fan. But yeah, I mean, if
Yeah,
if Swerve's gonna be there, if Swerve performed, then yeah, they have to like.
yes, Swerve was on. He did media stuff for the Beat and Power today, and he performed about 3 hours ago. So, I mean, I'm willing to bet, Cracker Barrel mail for everyone in this group right now that AEW doesn't use any of that footage this week on TV.
Oh God! Someone write Tony. I want that Cracker Barrel.
Right?
Tony,
No
use
shit.
footage. Use the footage, man.
Well, they've done that. You see that a lot on TNA. If a wrestler goes to another promotion, they'll show you the footage, and if it has something to do with the storyline, if they can bring back CMLL wrestlers and incorporate that into a storyline, are there a lot of women wrestlers that they would want to feature on AEW? Is there some way to tie it back into an AEW storyline with her teaming up to go fight
anyway, man? It wouldn't.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a storyline. You said
Exactly.
it yourself. You said it yourself. With this first question. I mean, whatever they would do as far as anything involving anybody else with CMLL, we see how it works with the men. We know how they treat their women, and it's not gonna. They're not gonna get featured. They're not gonna get featured.
Thunder Rosa on their own
Right.
show.
Exactly.
Well, they're starting
That's
to
why
use her.
it's loaded.
Hopefully it becomes they can find some vehicle for her outside of a title role. But
That's why they put her on the Greyhound instead of New
show you
Mexico.
the footage of something she did in another country. Who cares?
Okay. Let's go into our second count. And that is AEW has 3 big money signings here. Ospreay, Okada, Monet. Why no change in their viewership? Oh, my Lord. We're going to start with the Badboyz this time to give Travis and George some time to take in what these guys say. Rob, I'm going to start with you, man. What's going on? We got the top here. Ospreay, Okada.
They do banger matches. You're going to get banger matches out of all 3 of those talents. What's going to happen, though, is they're not going to amount to much. Let's take Mercedes Monet. Let's assume that she goes right into the title scene with Toni Storm, timeless Toni Storm, and beats her right out of the gate.
Yep.
Now what do? Let's say she doesn't beat her. Okay, maybe you'll have a rubber match on it. Then what do? There's no steam in anything that they have. Ospreay is part of a heel faction, but he's over as a baby face, so that's kind of boring. Did we mention Edge in that, or did I miss one?
I mean, we didn't mention it, but I mean, he's part of.
He's another one.
Signing,
Let's
so
say he gets his story, and he beats Christian Cage. Okay, what's the outcome after that? Nothing. There's no after game. There's no exit strategy for any of these people winning. If they lose, and they look weak. If they win, it doesn't matter. Because
what about Okada here joining the Young Bucks? Anything?
Rainmaker. Okay, so the other 2 guys look a little frumpy right now, which is why they're wearing vests in the ring. Okada's doing all the work, and those 2 guys sit in the back, and they don't get a lot of hot tags. So he's going to pull all of the weight until Kenny Omega comes back and challenges him for a seat, or maybe Kenny Omega comes back and goes heel. Either way, it kind of writes itself. It's kind of boring. There aren't any swerves. I mean, when everything that's happening right now, the storylines are really boring and dry right now. When we had the heel turn and the breakup of the Bang Bang Scissor game, it was so just abrupt. It just came out of nowhere. It was like, oh, we're done already.
Right.
You gave it 1 month. You didn't even give it 2 months to sell some merch. So there's no payoff. They're a company focused on banger matches. Tony Khan's a guy, as they like to say in other sources, that just likes to watch the reels, likes to watch the tape and do fantasy matches.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's great, but they all have to string together to some cohesiveness, and they don't.
Let me jump over to you, Sin City Steve. Man, you big fan of AEW. You have to be excited to see Ospreay, Okada, maybe even Monet being signed.
Nothing's going to happen, bruv.
What is your take, man, on the viewership? What's going on?
So the thing is, the product isn't stale. Quite honestly, they need to do a better job of cross promotion and marketing. We just talked about it in the very first prompt. Swerve performing at Rolling Loud. No one would know that. Thunder Rosa at CMLL. No one would know that. if these wrestlers really matter to you as a promotion, if you genuinely see them as being able to drive revenue, then you should have clips of them at these events.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of Swerve, at least make it known that he's going to be there. You know,
Right.
It blows my mind that they did what they did for Mercedes. They followed the CM Punk formula. They didn't outright announce her before the event. They didn't really announce any of this stuff. They did a decent job with the buildup of Ospreay, but realistically, Okada, okay, so the guy comes out as a run-in to save Eddie Kingston before giving him the Rainmaker. Okay, that's no promotion whatsoever. You mean to tell me that you couldn't have a press release leaked to a news source of some kind that these three people had been signed much in advance of them showing up, and then hype up their debuts? Or if you're going to do it the same day, hell, why not make it known that, hey, Okada signed his contract, he's going to be in the building tonight. Make it a huge thing on your social media. Market the shit out of your talent. That's why AEW is stagnant at about 800,000 viewers for Dynamite and 300,000 for Collision, because they don't actually view these guys as money generating, revenue generating intellectual properties, which at the end of the day, WWE is the upper echelon of doing that. And honestly, Tony Khan and AEW, they need to humble themselves and take a page from WWE and learn how to market their company.
Yeah. Matt Michaels. So let's say that their numbers were 600,000 coming before Ospreay showed up. Then after he showed up, maybe there wasn't any hype, but people say, oh, he showed up. The next week I'm going to watch. So maybe the numbers didn't drop up to 7 or 8, right? So he's there. Then Okada comes. Maybe people weren't aware he was going to show up that night. But, those other people are going to go, hey, we're going to watch that following night. That number maybe jump up to 8 or 900,000. And then Monet, now everyone was kind of prepared for that, but maybe there was some that didn't. The number from that point maybe should have dropped over to 1 million. I guess the point is, over time, it seemed like nobody, despite these names wasn't coming back to these big signings as the weeks progressed. What do you think is the issue here?
Well, first off, who the fuck is Will Ospreay and who the fuck is Okada?
I was going to say the same thing.
I mean, it's really simple.
He's the Rainmaker. Hello, he brings it. The rain.
Is that the Rainmaker? He's with Tom Cruise, right? They fucking had autism or something, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck is the Rainmaker?
That's really racist, sir, that you think Asian people are autistic.
Stop it. Matt, go.
That is a slanted thing, sir. That is slanted.
Oh my God.
God.
Is that all you got, Michael?
It's just Rob, just butting in with his fucking yellow sense of humor.
All right, let's go over to George.
When you need his internet connection to fail, it doesn't.
George,
when he has a good point, he cuts out.
George, what is your take as you see nothing is happening in their viewership and you got big sightings like this?
So I'm going to continue what Matt was saying is I don't think it's completely fair for for two of those people are not like the other. To continue what he's saying, oh man, I only got a minute and a half. Ospreay and Okada, who the hell are they? But and I say that respectively because we've seen them before. Wait, they just signed with AEW? Huh? I thought they were already with AEW. Weren't they just at Forbidden Door? Weren't they just defending the championship like not too long ago? So it's like, what's the big deal? Oh, they signed. Oh, great. Even if they were still with New Japan, they'd still have matches in AEW.
They're also the reason TNA.
Yeah, they were on TNA. And like the thing about Mercedes is like there was interest there. Over 1 million people tuned in to see Mercedes Moné, and then look what happened at the end. I mean, granted, you don't really main event with that. I mean, that baffles me why you could choose that to be a main event.
Shit.
Yeah, the marketability also won't. But I'm gonna give them a little bit of leeway just because 97, the summer of 97, WWF was putting on flat out the absolute best wrestling program, with the absolute hottest guy in the business, 1000%, with Stone Cold Steve Austin and that Team Canada versus USA thing. That was the absolute best storyline. Business was rising, but they were still losing their Nitro on a weekly basis. Right. So I think there's this quick, everybody's got this quick kind of turnaround, like, oh my God, we're gonna get 1 million viewers now. No, like you gotta like Steve said, you gotta be humble, Kendrick, bitch, just sit down and be humble and just learn that it's going to be a marathon. They don't have that mentality that the WWE had 10, 15 years ago when they were losing out to Nitro.
Yeah.
Just know that even if you don't get it now, stay on the course, build your guys, build these guys into the superstars that you keep saying that they are, and you'll see that things will start turning out. But again, you can't main event Riho and Willow as well. That also had a lot to do with it, because even if that was the average, what 801, or I think came out like 798, that 400,000 people that didn't watch, that affected the average. So again, so you can't do that after no disrespect, because I love me some Willow, but you can't do that.
Travis, what would you recommend to Tony Khan to get his viewerships up? I mean, what would you tell this guy?
Well, first I'd tell him that the Raiders probably have better coke than the Jaguars, but on to a different topic. This is what I was here for today. We may have to close the show after this topic because I'm going to go on. So you take that timer off. I'm sorry, 2K. We'll sponsor you next time, or you can sponsor us next time. But no. So let's go back. Okada, Ospreay, you're doing the surprise, debuts, however. But it's like, how did that work with Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole when they came on the same night? I think people, the AEW audience, as much as they want to hate to admit it, they already know the game plan. How many game changers can we have at this point? Where are we at the point of game changers? Because who else is left to change the game that people are saying that there's going to be a game changer? Like, really, who else is left? It's like you bring in Daniel Bryan. Where is he at now? In a tag. Already saying he's ready to retire. You bring in Adam Cole, injured. You bring in Keith Lee, injured. And I get injuries, you can't get around them. But it's like you bring in all these people.
CM Punk.
And it's like CM Punk. It's like we're FTR. Paige. Look how big that we got Saraya, and it's like, and look, where the fuck is that now? Like, so I think people are just like, okay, hey, there's a new person that he signed, and we like him too, but where are we going after a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks? What I would have done with Sasha if the whole thing was weird. Props to them that they got 7, 8, 9,000 in that building that night. It wasn't sold out, but they had a big number. But as people were saying, the ratings didn't, it didn't pan out to what it should have been. Tony likes to make announcements on Wednesdays, whatever, everyone jokes about that. But for Sasha, you know what I would have done? I would have, on Monday morning, I would have made AEW social media posts like, hey, tonight at around 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m., we're going to do a live stream with a major announcement. And the major announcement, that person would have been standing next to Tony, and they would have made whatever announcement they wanted to make. I would have done that on a Monday at 9 p.m. or 9:30. My big signing, I'm going to announce during Monday Night Raw, because we live in a social media world, and Tony lives on social media. And if he would have announced Sasha on a live stream on Monday during Raw, they probably could have taken over the trending topics of that night with this and said, hey, tune in this Wednesday. She's going to debut. But I would have had a women's title match on that show. I would have had a bigger marquee name in the women's title match.
You mean Willow is not a big marquee name?
Since he likes to throw shit out there, you could have just put Thunder Rosa out there versus Tony Storm and be like, hey, former tag partners. Thunder never lost the title, but you build it with that storyline, but it's also Mercedes is in the building. Mercedes is watching this, and you go from there. You could have done it way better. Like,
where is Britt Baker? That's the whole
I mean-
fucking thing, right? That's your fucking marquee person that you built up from the beginning. Where the fuck is that chick?
but see, that's a problem.
Just her.
Once you get through Britt Baker, then where are we at? You know, Steve mentioned earlier of leaking a press release. It
She was with
works.
a bunch of WWE.
Absolutely.
at one of the
Absolutely.
pay-per-views.
Look what WWE with Jade did with Jade. Sports Illustrated, CBS, Forbes, all got this press release. No, I'm serious, because WWE does that.
Mhm.
You know, like there were a ton of podcasters out there. There were a ton of YouTubers out there. Look what WWE did last week on with Logan Paul. Hey Logan, you got this big show. You're from Cleveland. You're going to be the one to announce SummerSlam.
Right.
You know, I mean, if Tony's coming back for Double or Nothing, he should ask you guys to announce it.
Shit.
Oh,
That'd be awesome.
yeah.
No, but I'm saying, you know, it's like
Tony's ever
WWE
listened to
utilizes.
the show, it's not
They
gonna happen.
utilize
I know that
people
we could get Donald Trump to do the announcement.
in front of Trump Towers with the T-Mobile way in the background. Does it face Henderson? Is that arena Henderson's available? But no, but WWE utilize people like this. I mean, for any wrestling fan, WWE fan, I should say, to think that at some point within the next year and a half, we're not going to see Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul, you have to be crazy to think that that match is not going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. You're going to have these mega big stars fighting each other who are very athletic as fuck and can carry a match one-on-one with each other.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, AEW needs to latch on to some of these outside personalities and get the press. Like you're debuting Sasha Banks in Boston. Okay, that's cool, and we got a little bit of press. But then the next night, she's
Let me jump in and
front-
say one thing about
front row at
that
the
idea.
Celtics game.
They
Go
did that at first. They had famous people at first. They would do vignettes and stuff, and they would throw famous people in there in the first year and a half or so. Then, for whatever the reason, they stopped doing that. So it was something that they have already done. They didn't do it in the way you're talking about, attach it to a release of a new wrestler, but it's something they've done before, and it was effective. The first year and a half of AEW was solid. I'm not saying it was the best wrestling of all time, and it blew the doors off on viewership, but it was a lot better than what's out there now. And they had storylines back then.
You're correct, and fuck the storylines. Because everyone's going to be like, well, there's only one story in wrestling, and maybe there is, but I think Trick and Lash are going to be a great story. I think it's going to be better than Tony's story. But you were right. When AEW first started, they did attach a lot of celebrities. We heard about it on
Yep.
inside the NBA. We heard they were talking about it with Shaq and Kenny and them. But it's like, and AEW was hot. There were days, weeks, months where it's like million viewers. Now people are joking, are like, are they going to go 83 weeks without a million viewers? So it's
They had the best wrestling of the pandemic. They innovated
They did.
by having the
Oh, yeah.
wrestlers in as the audience, and then WWE followed up later on and didn't get it right.
But Rob, you did
that's in the
a
past.
bunch of wrestling in front of nobody, and then they just continued the trend.
yeah, they just continued. It's still for nobody, but still, like a lot. If you look, a lot of these
Sorry.
celebrities
Sorry, Steve.
never came
Sorry,
back.
Steve. Just in front of you.
But no, seriously, like these celebrities didn't come back. If you have someone like Mike Tyson saying, I don't want to go back, that's bad press. Your PR department should be fired at that point. You should
Well,
never
yeah.
let a celebrity say, I don't want to go back.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's just be honest. Sasha came back. Sasha came in. Where the fuck was her cousin? Nowhere to be found, because we are on the road to WrestleMania, and we all know where Snoop wants to be this time of year. There is no reason why Tony spends all this money to get Elton John's theme song and Jungle Boy's theme song and Moxley's theme song. There's no reason he did not pay Snoop enough money to create Sasha Banks' theme
That's
song.
because Tony's
Because the
going to have
one
Snoop at Wembley Arena. And Wembley Arena is going to be sold out. It's already sold out, but you can get your tickets now. And if you want to see Snoop Dogg, we're going to get him. I will pay the money to get him at the sold out Wembley Arena. It is the most sold out show that we have ever seen. There has never been a more sold out show than this, but get your tickets right now. 40,000 tickets are available to the sold out show at Wembley Arena. Sold out Wembley Arena, 95,000 tickets. They're going to add an extra wing on Wembley Arena because of the sold out show that you can still get tickets for right now to see Sasha Banks or maybe an assorted cousin of my choosing at sold out Wembley Arena, which you can get tickets for right now. You can get a Broadus family member. It might not be Calvin Broadus. We get Calvin Klein Broadus, who is his third cousin, who is locked up for 10 years in the pen for prostitution. But guess what? He will be at the sold out Wembley Arena, which you can get tickets for right now. Seats are still available on the 50-yard line. They don't have football there, at least not the kind we have, but 50-yard line, Wembley Arena in Canton, Ohio.
Oh God! Did I tell you? You sound like
No, but it's true, and like because this is something where in ring, if that's your type of your cup of tea, fine. Tony gives it to you. But production wise, I don't give a fuck how many tonals you bring or how many lights you want to change. The production still sucks for AEW. And from production, I mean overall, I mean the aspect of TV production, social media production, public relations production. This is where they fail. And in that era, and whatever you want to think about WWE's past business, whatever, we're in an era where CW just picked up NXT. We're in an era where Netflix just picked up Monday Night Raw, where USA is going to pick up SmackDown. And it's all about the public perception, the public relation. Every time these signings happen, those 3 signings of those TV shows was way bigger than the 3 signings of the free agents.
Well, wait a minute. There's one person,
AEW
one signing, all seriousness, one signing you didn't mention, and we've talked about it in the last couple of weeks, Jennifer Peppermint coming from WWE. What does that do for AEW? Does that help them course correct in any way in your eyes?
Have you seen anything?
She's going to be
it's still we're talking about like week 2. So
week 2, we're technically in week 4 of that.
Okay.
I mean,
at least there was more than one women's segment on last week's Dynamite.
If you had bookings prior,
I mean, she did find Thunder Rosa and put her on Dynamite. You know, I mean, that was the forbidden door, if you want to talk about that. But I mean, hopefully we'll see. Here's my deal about that situation. And whatever happened, but didn't Sasha quit WWE when Jennifer was writing for the company?
Sasha already said in an interview that she's going to go back to WWE soon. Which was not too swift.
But that's the thing. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, we got this Emmy writer," you know. But I'm like, yeah, but Sasha left the company when this Emmy writer was writing for WWE, basically writing the storylines that Sasha didn't like. So I get why she came over. I think everyone can figure out why she came over. But as you said, and it goes back to the public relations department, there is no way in hell I would have let that video air of Sasha sitting in there saying, I still love WWE and eventually I'm going to go back home. What do you think if WWE announced Jade and then sent her to ESPN and Jade sat on that stage and said, I'm here, I'm going to have fun, but eventually I'm going to go back home?
Right now, the
Carter would have been out there and cut the cord. ESPN would have been off the air, and Jade would have been going back home in that Uber that they would have hired her and sent her ass back home. And there's no way that WWE would let anyone say that. None.
Hey,
and it's the fact that you let Sasha go out there and say that, and that you let the footage still be out there. You know, on top of her saying that, you still have the talent, certain talent on Twitter, almost saying the same exact thing.
I want to ask.
Andrade said it. You know, Miro basically says it.
Miro no
Sasha
longer
went out
has
there
a wife, so
Sasha went out there and actually said it, and Tony was cool with the video.
By the way,
That's
CJ, I'm available. I do Trump. I do Obama. I can do Russian accents if you need.
Oh God! Listen,
but I'm just holding off until I get Jade Cargill. So you're my side bitch until I get Jade Cargill.
Listen, I got a question about the ratings right quick, and then I got to move over to count 3. In terms of anything on TNT that is not sports related, because we know what sports does, where does AEW fall in position with ratings? Are they pretty much the number one show that's on there outside of sports?
Yes.
Yes, AEW is number one on the Turner networks. So that's why they're probably going to get a good contract renewal. But if you're basing AEW's ratings towards other wrestling shows, it's hard because you can only really, I mean, realistically, you can only count NXT because AEW doesn't have a 3-hour show like Raw, and the other main show for WWE is on network TV. So you really can't compare any AEW TV ratings towards Raw or SmackDown. So you really kind of, NXT is the closest thing you can compare it to, and that's the scary part because NXT comes very close to AEW ratings. And I say it all the time. There's no reason D1 athletes should be pulling ratings so close.
But if we go back in time,
franchise roster
started, they were not trying to compete against Raw or SmackDown, and they were aligned with TNA, or excuse me, Impact Wrestling, and that was the forbidden door with some stints of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So we're putting them up to this pedestal. Really, they only need to compete against their former selves at this point.
No. Tony Khan is the one who fucked up everything because he's the one who started saying shit about.
Well, no, he feuded. He ran his mouth when he had no reason to. No doubt about it.
He's a fucking stupid motherfucker.
You don't sit back and call Hunter and Sean bald assholes and expect them to just be cool with it. They're not going to go on TV and retaliate, but they're going to do stuff by signing Jade, making sure William Regal has some ridiculous type of clause in his contract to get out of AEW, bringing in Andrade, Punk, Sean Spears. I mean, Sean Spears was on TV last week and was seen by more people than he has been in probably the past year of his life.
Wait, but it's Sean Spears. Yeah, it's like 10 people is good for Sean.
All right, y'all. Let's move over into count number 3. And this one is all about WrestleMania 40 predictions. This is exciting. It's going to be here less than 3 weeks. George, we finally get Cody finally gets to finish his story. How excited are you about it?
If he actually finishes it, then I'm very excited. Although Ziggler had a good point on Busted Open, but we'll get into that some other time. I think it's funny that everybody's going to sit there and say like, oh, Seth's going to take the pin in the tag match. Cody's going to take the pin in the tag match night 1. That's going to lead into Cody winning. And I don't see what I don't know. Like, let me know what you guys think. Everybody's going to sit there and say like, oh, The Rock's going to turn. He's giving all these signals. I don't know, man. Like, if I was Arizona, I wouldn't be so quick to after he called me coke heads and meth heads, like, oh, now I'm going to cheer him because he turned on Roman. It kind of reminded me of like Kurt Angle when he joined the Alliance back in 2001. And it's like, oh, wait, you're supposed to cheer you now because you were on the inside from the WWE. You're like a mole. But I don't know. I just thought it was, I don't see that happening. I feel like there's so much.
For The Rock last night when he talked about beating Cody bloody with a belting, handing it to his mom.
But he was in
the most gory shit that he's ever said. And people still cheered his name.
But he was in Memphis, and he totally put the city over even before anything else. I mean, he pretty much said that this was his home away from home, that, he got his first few matches there. So, I mean, I think they kind of knew what they were doing, especially with Roman out there. Yeah, you're right, but I also think that he kind of set the tone of the promo.
But George, I think Rock has no other choice but to interfere against his cousin for that show, because how else is Cody going to get that title?
Right, and it's also you set up the fact that if you have a no rules match, then it's set up. And how are we going to get The Rock versus Roman?
I mean, there's other ways. It's not just the way. He's not turning him now. If anything, I think there's so much money in The Rock. This being this board of the directors, TKO, CEO,
so
whatever he is,
to be the new Vince McMahon and just walk around in a suit and just call matches.
Yes. If he's as entertaining as he is now, and everything pretty much means something, especially when you have the writer with him who actually knows how to write wrestling, 1000%. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Roman goes babyface at some point. You have Roman losing the belt to Cody, and Rock saying, "All right, you're the head of the table." I think when he acknowledged Roman Reigns a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, that was done for a specific reason. But I think a lot of it was like, "All right, come on, head of the table, get your belt back, go get your title back." Go get it back.
He deliberately kept doing weird gestures and stuff. Once was a mistake. When you keep doing that, that's deliberate. You keep making strange gestures. You're not
that's all that pedophile baby Hollywood stuff. You know,
and there's also such thing as red herrings. I mean, it gets people talking. So I mean, there's always that, because I mean that happens in wrestling all the time. I personally, again, this is just my opinion. I think there's money to be made in Rock continuing his role, and especially trying to, because it's not like it's different, because it's like, yes, Vince did it, Stephanie did it, but now you have somebody that is actually a wrestler that has actually credibility, not like Stephanie doing something on a heel woman wrestler, or on a woman wrestler, and not getting it back.
Triple H doing it.
Yeah, and so at least you have the Rock, that you have matches. You're going to get the Cody versus Rock one-on-one match at some point. What we're going to have Rock turn on Roman, and then face versus face Cody. No, like, I think that's going to be the money match at SummerSlam. Cody versus a heel Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, what's this? Roman 41 now?
Yeah,
you got to get to a point where the
Rock versus Roman at 41.
Yeah, that's fine. You've got to get to a point where the bloodline runs its course, because you cannot have another 12 months of a guy sitting in a green room with a fucking, sulking face, and there's 12 months of story and the guy just sitting in the back and being a little bitch.
But he's such a made man, though. Like, he doesn't have to be the champion anymore. He can still do that without being the champion.
Whatever happens, the reason why I was personally annoyed at 39 was not because of Cody. I didn't care whether Cody won or lost. I cared that The Rock literally went through the entire roster to date and had nobody left to wrestle. And I said, now WrestleMania 39 hinges on that following Monday Night Raw. And if the Roman Reigns, I should say, doesn't sell it, if Roman Reigns doesn't come out and really sell that following Monday night, and he just looks like he's bored and doesn't want to be there, the whole thing was for naught. And sure enough, he didn't do anything that following time, and then he took a long break. And I'm like, you know what? Did he need to have a belt on his waist to take this long break, which he deserved? He earned everything he had, but he had nobody left to fight. And they could have done The Rock back then at Backlash, let's say. They could have done something else. That's why Cody needed it.
You've always been a
Rock versus Roman, not a Backlash, man.
Fine. But they needed
Rock versus Bad Bunny.
Roman Reigns had exhausted all of the opponents. That's why he needed to lose at 39. It's in the bag. Can't do anything about it. If you give it to Roman Reigns again, Jesus Christ, you're gonna have an exodus.
For the record, I don't think Roman should win. I had no problem with him winning last year. I always said that Cody Rhodes winning would have been the right decision. Roman Reigns winning would have been the right decision. For WrestleMania 40, Roman Reigns winning would be the 100% wrong decision. I don't think it's going to happen at all.
Absolutely agree.
Let's remember this, though. Last year's WrestleMania, the head of creative did have Cody winning the title.
Yep.
The owner of the company came into the city a few days prior and changed all the plans. So, I mean, we can go and say Roman this, Cody that, day after Mania this, day after SmackDown that. The person who was the head of creative did right for Cody Rhodes to win the title last year at WrestleMania.
I didn't know that myself.
That can always change.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it changed because someone came in 3 days prior and reformatted the show. So people,
who was that?
Vince
McMahon, you idiot.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Just great.
The owner of the company.
Yeah. So he
Vince vetoed all that shit.
Yeah, Cody was winning the title, but Vince came in literally, was it 2-3 days before the show?
Yeah.
And so it's all that. You mentioned about the bloodline getting stale. I kind of think they are. I think they are. I think they're there right now.
Yeah.
We're all about Rock and Roman and 2 nights of WrestleMania, and it's like They're not even acknowledging Jimmy versus Jay. We're getting two fucking brothers going at it at WrestleMania who are part bloodline, longest tag champs, and their own family's not even acknowledging the match.
To be
You
fair,
know,
it
we're
was
not
just
even-
made
That's
official.
insane.
It was just made
We're-
official 48 hours ago.
Yeah, it was, but still, it wasn't like Heyman was out there pushing for it weeks prior. You know,
He's
they
not
didn't even
their
mention
advocate.
they're. But it's Jay or whatever was not even getting time on SmackDown to even say, "Hey, I showed up on Raw to kick my brother's ass." You know, it's like they're not even
Neither one of them are really acknowledged by Roman Reigns. I mean, Jimmy was
anymore.
Jay
They
is-
were
right.
before. They were before, but they aren't now. And
Yeah.
that's where it's like it's getting stale. And
It's Roman,
know-
and Solo Sikoa, and The Rock, and then you got a henchman.
I mean, if anything, the person that suffered the most is Solo. I mean, the guy beat John
Yeah.
Cena a few months ago,
Yeah.
and now it doesn't even look like he's going to have a match.
Yeah,
for
he's not
WrestleMania.
going to be on, on the show.
I think he's suffering more than the whole Jimmy and Jay thing. I mean, that's going to happen with promos and like some
Wait.
weeks.
He's singing the national anthem, isn't he?
Oh, that's true.
yeah,
Well,
he
that's-
is.
but you
Both
just
nights.
happened something.
Both nights.
Of all of the members of the bloodline, who speaks the least? Who has had the least mic time is Solo Sikoa.
Mhm.
Like he's
I
going to
don't-
sing the national anthem, so
Right.
we're going to hear his voice. You know, he's going to be on Masked Singer right after that. It's on Fox. We got one more, a few more months of promotion.
Who's he going
and
to
then
come dressed up as?
Wait. You just, I'm going to fucking text him right now because I think that's brilliant. We got to get him on Masked Singer. I think that's fucking awesome.
No, but I hope they don't branch the bloodline off the way the NWO did, because obviously there's I guess talk of another person coming into the company
Yeah,
soon.
it's Scott Norton, right? Scott Norton's the new bloodline member, right?
But I tell you, the person that they bring in, they better video package him or explain, because otherwise it's going to be no different than what AEW does.
Solo
Bring in a New
Sikoa
Japan
is going
star,
to have the
and we have to assume that we know who this
TJ
guy is.
Perry.
Exactly.
Lana's going to come back and say, Solo, crush.
No, she's going to show up
Well,
next to Damian Priest after he cashes in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, apparently he already cashed in on that.
He already cashed in once, so
So it looked
No,
like
no comments on who's cashing in in place right now. But speaking of cashing in, that's a good. We're doing WrestleMania predictions. It doesn't have to just be the two main events.
yep.
What's
Forbidden door.
Priest? Is Priest going to even hint to Rollins or Drew?
Yes.
Mania weekend, or do we hold it off to the night after Mania?
No, you got.
I don't think he does. I think it would be fucked up for him to cash in.
Wow,
on
such language from the host here.
No,
Yeah.
I apologize for that. That would
Watch
be
your
really-
fucking mouth, Impact.
Hey, here's this.
Oh, but also I think
that would be
the one thing I want to say is I know people are saying like Rock turning and stuff like that. I think they realize they're onto something, and they're going to keep him going. So maybe Roman turns face at this point. So, but yeah, I think I get the feeling they're onto something. They're releasing merch like crazy, and I think they're going to keep Rock where he's at as far as they can run. If I have to make a WrestleMania prediction, and this is all honesty, I'm being truthful about this. I think somehow, some way, Cody's dog bites the Rock. And I don't mean it as a joke, but it's like the British Bulldogs, Matilda, Bobby Heenan, when Matilda would go after Heenan, because he brings up the dog way too much for them to not be some type of, angle where the dog, bites the Rock. And
Pharaoh's
Rock
going to give him
kills the
some.
dog.
Oh,
You think Pharaoh over Mama Rhodes? They bring it up Mama
I
Rhodes
think-
all the time.
I think Mama Rhodes could be holding the dog, and she slaps him, and the dog bites him. But let's
She
also
lets go of the leash.
yeah. So it's that whole Bobby Heenan Matilda thing, and which happened at a WrestleMania before. So I see something like that. I also, there's everyone says The Rock, drops certain hints, and WWE's doing certain things, and they strategically are, because if you really look at something, Rock has not mentioned Brandy at all.
Yeah.
And there's a reason. And that's the long-term storytelling. So
I just
I-
want. I
they're-
just
they're-
want.
See
I just
Nia
want-
Jax involved in the bloodline in some way for the size and the strength and how they kind of misused her in many ways. I would have loved to have seen her play a China-esque role in the bloodline, even just to sit in the corner and just back them up. I just thought that once they did that Royal Rumble with her, she and the fact that she's in the actual fucking family tree, and
it's still possible. I think
if you're gonna do it at
I
all.
think version 2 or the next chapter of the Bloodline starts the night after Mania.
Because she's too overpowering for most of the women on the roster. Her mic skills are so. Put her in a position where she can be another solo Sokoa enforcer, sit on the other side of Heyman and go, hey, I'm going to beat up all the women, and we'll do it like Judgment Day, where she's the female wing of the bloodline.
No, she doesn't need it. I'd rather see Naomi. I'd rather see Naomi. I'd rather see Naomi in the bloodline. I just want to see Rock mention Brandy and Brandy come out and say, I don't know, it was open fight night, bitch.
Oh my bitch.
Oh God!
No,
You're
trust me.
actually opining to have Brandy Rhodes on WWE TV.
With the
I
mic-
never
No,
thought that
I'm
I
gonna
would
be-
see
I'm
the
gonna-
fucking
with the
day.
microphone.
I'm going to call it right now, 100% honestly. I think we're going to see Cody and Brandy versus Rock and Jade.
No. Rocking his daughter, dude.
Yep.
Rocking his
No.
daughter. That's
No,
how
there-
you get his daughter over.
there's a reason why she's the GM in NXT and not a
Trust me. Tony Khan would not want Rock's daughter to be in this match because that's going to put so much attention onto NXT, and they're going to start hitting a million views. And then Tony's got to log on to Twitter and see that NXT's hitting a million and not his own damn show of triple threat,
Look at this.
Tag
It's a third bald bitch.
Continental triple threat, 3 title, Eddie Kingston, whatever championships.
Either way,
So-
Rock's going to be on that first episode of NXT on CW.
Oh,
There's no
everyone's
way
going to be.
he's not.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be any NXT stars on that first episode of.
There's going to be on that one.
It's going to be like Rock versus Solo as the main event. You know, I really doubt there's going to be any. If anything's going to be past NXT stars, were like
Right.
Rhea, Raquel, Shayna, Asuka, Kyrie, Stratton. Those are the NXT
But-
stars there. That first
that
day.
said-
Ivor Valkyria is going to go, I'm part of the team too.
With that said,
Is that,
is
is,
that-
that is that when Swerve shows up with the AEW title on NXT?
He dumps it in the trash like he's a Lundra Blaze.
Oh boy.
Is that first
But one more
NXT? Is that one going to be on the road at the
There's-
Mall of America?
It's probably going to be at Daly's place, to be quite honest. Easier to drive from Orlando to Daly's place.
Someone's gonna wheel out Luger.
Oh no. Oh, dude.
No comment. But one last WrestleMania prediction, because I know Impact's got 2 more shows to tape tonight, and then he's probably got to fly to Dallas or Salt Lake tomorrow, wherever the fuck he flies at.
Pretty much.
I need to know about Philly predictions, Mania weekend, DJ Impact. How many cheesesteaks are you gonna eat?
Right now,
I'm
just
setting the over under at 3.5.
Isn't it Geno's, right? Everybody talks about Geno's.
Facts.
Is that the famous Philly cheesesteak plate?
Pats and Geno's and
Geno's.
Tony Luke's.
I'm a big fan of
Richard.
Charlie's. Anybody like Charlie's? You
He's
find
not
them at
answering
any
it.
fast
Those
food
are
mall.
Tony Luke's.
Let him answer.
it's right now, as of now, it's 1.
Bullshit.
We'll see.
I am
Hey,
disappointed.
we got Pops out in Vegas, so I got to compare and see, what,
Yeah,
Geno's
that's
is-
That
why
is
you gotta
true.
that's why you got to get all
Yeah.
3 of them.
Are you going to do the whole tourist thing? Are you going to do the Rocky stair? Are you going to do the Rocky stairs and
I'm doing all that.
Bullshit. He ain't doing no
Wow.
Rocky stairs after he's had 4 cheesesteaks. He's going to have a heart attack halfway the fuck up.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how long he's going to be there because he's saying he's only going to one night, but he's going to have time to do Rocky stairs and 4 cheesesteaks. Like, how long are you actually in Philadelphia?
I'll be there for a good 4 days.
4 days, but you're only going to one wrestling show.
Absolutely.
And then he's going to take a
He's gotta
cruise
see the
back to
Liberty,
Las
though.
Vegas.
That's a cruise. He's flying from Philly to JFK. They take the cruise from New York all the way back down to
Find him on a cruise ship going down the fucking Colorado River.
as much as he likes wrestling.
Need.
As much as he likes wrestling and cruises, I am shocked he's never been on the Jericho cruise.
Yeah, no shit.
Wrong promotion.
Oh, now Tony definitely is not going to let you announce Double or Nothing in Vegas because you just said wrong promotion. But then again, Sasha said she's going back to WWE, so maybe Tony will let you still announce it.
Well, guys, look, it's been exciting on this 3 counts.
Are you taking your tag team partner to Vegas? I'm not letting you go with this. He's already said he's going to the strip clubs.
Oh,
you don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer that one. Never mind. I don't want to get you in trouble.
Oh God.
DJ Impact will be at a strip club in Las Vegas promoting Double or Nothing, and then we're going to go to Wembley Arena, which is sold out, but tickets are still available right now to see DJ Impact eat 4 cheesesteaks and then run up the stairs in Philadelphia. No, it's not the same city, but he'll do it anyway.
Oh God. All right.
Are you going to Wale Mania?
No.
No. Wow. So you're just going to one night?
One night.
TKO's getting all your money just for one night.
And 4 cheesesteaks.
And I'll hit up the store. I'll go to the store.
So you're going to the Superstore, the WrestleMania store.
And if y'all got any
the
passes,
world.
you got any passes to WWE World, send them to me because I'm not spending $60 or $30 to get in.
Yeah, you have to pay to get into the store now.
Are they doing that?
Christ.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they did that a few years ago, but they didn't do that last year.
So
yeah,
if you
Dallas.
want to browse at the store, you have to pay to get in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
They did do that before, yeah. So
They did that in
Yeah.
Dallas.
That's fucking
Dallas.
huge.
But people do it.
Oh, I bet.
That's the thing.
Oh yeah.
Hey, it's the only way
Is it
Cody's ever going to get the belt.
You can see DJ adding the shit up in his head. Like,
Yeah. Am I really
like-
gonna do this?
He's like 4 cheesesteaks. the store. you know cheesesteak prices are going to be pretty high that weekend. They're not going to be normal prices.
I'm sure.
You're looking at about $60 in cheesesteaks there.
Oh God.
Without the toppings.
Whiz with onions.
Let me hit it. We have finished.
I'm starving.
As always, it's great to have you, Travis, on. And George, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. This has been fun. We're
Illuminati.
Next up, we're gonna get into our wrestling talk. So if you're watching,
I still got a few more questions. I'm sorry. One more minute, please. One more minute. So you're going WrestleMania Sunday.
correct,
Or Saturday?
Sunday.
All right. Because I'm trying to calculate when you're going to be back on the podcast because I need to hear the whole story of your 4 days in Philadelphia.
The week after, I'll be back.
Okay, make sure that it's the podcast. I need to hear every detail.
That's going to be 3 count. It's just going to be DJ's whole trip. He's going to tell us stories in Philadelphia.
Count number 1, hats. Count number 2, Geno's. Count number 3, Tony Luke's.
Oh my God.
That's a good callback, sir.
All right. Yeah. So if you're watching this live, we'll
Count number 4, throwing up on the Ben Franklin Bridge.
we'll be right back.
Running up the stairs, throwing up.
Count number 5, the hospital.
Oh God! All right.
Shit, man, I want a cheesesteak now.
Dude, that sounds good right now.
Dude, a pop.
What's a good cheesesteak? What's a good cheesesteak in Los Angeles?
Okada's.
Oh, really?
They make it rain.
All right, I'm gonna Google it right now.
Make it rain cheesesteaks.
What's a good
like
strip?
ricotta covered in cheese?
If I don't,
What's a good strip club in Los Angeles?
if
Cheesesteaks.
Oh yeah.
if I don't end it now, it won't end. So let me just hit the button. Peace.
The Philly-